Being good at your job does not mean you were trained to lead people. And if you're a manager listening to this, yeah, I figured out the hard way. You're not behind. You're normal. Most managers are promoted because they perform well. They hit numbers, they solve problems, and they work hard. Then one day, someone says, "Congratulations, you're the manager now." And that's it. No real training, no playbook, no guidance on how to lead people who think, feel, and react differently than you. Just pressure. Pressure to get results, pressure to keep people happy, pressure to not mess it up. If this sounds familiar, stay with me because this is the exact gap that I built through the Discipline Leadership course that will fix that problem. The number one problem really no one prepares you for in leadership is what happens after promotion. You're suddenly responsible for people who don't work like you, personalities you don't understand, motivation you can't really control, and conflict you were never trained to handle. And the worst part, everyone assumes you should already know what to do with it. So instead of asking for help, most managers do one of three things. They either overwork, they avoid hard conversations, or they micromanage. Now, let me say this clearly. Those aren't character flaws. They're survival responses. When you don't have the tools, you rely on your effort. When you don't have the structure, you rely on your control. When you don't have confidence, you avoid accountability. I know this because I lived it, and I've coached hundreds of leaders through it. So why doesn't performance translate into leadership? Glad you asked. Let me give you an example. As an individual contributor, success looks like this. You do the work, you fix the problem, you deliver the results. But as a leader, success looks like someone else does the work correctly without you stepping in. That shift messes people up because high performers are used to being the solution. So when something goes wrong, they jump in, they fix it, and then they move on. But what they don't realize is this. Every time you rescue instead of lead, you teach your team to wait on you. That's how strong performance turn into exhausted managers. Not because they're bad leaders, but because no one taught them how to stop leading without the effort and start leading with discipline. So to my first point, expectation setting. Let's talk about the expectations because this is where most managers fail first. Most managers think they're clear. They say the things like, make sure this gets done, stay on top of this, handle it like you did last time. That's not clarity. That's hope. Now, clear expectations answer three questions. What does done actually look like? When is it due? And what happens if it's not done? Here's a real example. Instead of saying, make sure that the report is ready, a discipline leader says, I need the report completed by Friday at 2 p.m. It should include A, B, and C. If it blocks you, I need to know Thursday morning. See the difference? One creates confusion, the other creates ownership. In the Discipline Leader course, I break this down step by step because most managers were never taught how to communicate. Now to my second point, accountability frameworks. Now let's talk about accountability, the thing everyone avoids but desperately needs. Most managers wait way too long. They notice an issue, they feel uncomfortable, they hope it fixes itself. It doesn't. Then one day they snap or they just shut down. Neither system works. Accountability isn't about punishment, it's about timing and clarity. Here's an example. Instead of waiting 3 weeks and saying, this has been an ongoing issue, a discipline leader would say, I noticed that this wasn't completed as expected yesterday. Walk me through what happened. That's not aggressive, that's responsible. Again, in this course, I teach leaders how to address issues early, remove emotion from accountability, hold standards without damaging relationships, because avoiding accountability doesn't protect your team. It actually confuses them. To my third point, authority without intimidation. A lot of new managers struggle here because they think that they have two choices, being liked or being respected, and that's false. The problem isn't authority, the problem is inconsistent authority. So when you enforce rules sometimes, let things slide other times, change standards based on your mood, you lose your credibility. Authority comes from consistency, not your volume. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be harsh. You need to be clear and consistent. This is one of the core pillars of the Discipline Leadership course, because once leaders understand this, everything changes. So let me be clear. Sorry, one of my leadership attributes. I didn't create this to motivate you. I actually created it for leaders who are doubting themselves, burning out, have problems that they know they couldn't solve on their own. This course gives you a leadership foundation promotion skip, language for conversations you've been avoiding, and structures that protect you and your team. If you were promoted for performance but never prepared for people, this course is for you. You don't need to work harder. You need better leadership tools. So download today, and I'll see you guys next time on the next episode to elevate your leadership thinking.